Welcome back to the Main Stone Carving Workshop. Today we're going to make a bourgeois, but it's not any bourgeois. It's a tree section bourgeois that goes here. If you watched the last video, you would have seen that I've already made 2 of these. I've actually already made 4 of these, but there's 6 to make in total because I've got 3 triple arches to do. So I've done 2 of these arches already. I've got 2 more of these to make. I've got 1 on my banker now. I'm gonna get it marked up, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to make one. Exhibit A. So we have this face mold. Applied the stone, I've already squared it up. It's already nice and square. So yeah, let's get cracking. This is where we're at. So we've got the face template cut through. It's all nice and square all the way through. And now I've squared this line up here and then trammeled that round. This one is quite far away from the internal radius and my trammel's a bit wobbly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work this rebate through here and then I'm gonna trammel off of that line to this. Just because it's not ideal, because in an ideal world you don't really ever want to measure off a measurement. You want to measure off from one dating point and always measure off that dating point to wherever you're going. But in this situation, that's what I'm going to do. Just got to make sure this rebate is really accurate, so then when I reference off of this rebate, then this line will be somewhere where it needs to be. Reality is it's not that long actually. It's only about 200 mil long before it meets up with the other one that comes this way. So it's not the end of the world. you go, it's that easy. Right, next obviously we've got this rebate here to do. So I'll trammel that line through. And then now I've got this edge here, which is nice. I can also trammel that line on off of this. Right, for those of you who haven't seen before, in the previous video, this, a piece of wood with a screw in it, is a great box trammel for something where you like trammeling off of a rebate. So I've just set that to that line there. And there you go, got my line. Do the same on this side. Voila. Ta-da! One thing, if you're working something that's going to this much of a point, which ideally in stonemasonry you don't really want to go beyond a 90 degrees, but in this situation we are. So I've got to do this rebate and it's going to come to this horrible little point here. What we need to do is we need to take into consideration what direction the blade is spinning in as to which rebate to do first. So I'm going to do this rebate first because the blade spins this direction, as in backwards, and it will rip that edge off, right? So if I work that point beyond here, then I can draw my line on, and then when I'm working this rebate in this way, the blade's turning this way, and it's pulling in the edge. So I'm not gonna rip that edge off, so it's much more likely to keep the point. Obviously, when you're also working something like this, you want to make sure that you're using a blade that has no rattle in it at all. You want a really nice, smooth blade. Fortunately, I've got quite a few of these vanity blades, which are good for that. It's very much luck of the draw, though. When you buy a vanity blade, sometimes they come rattly, which is a nightmare, because there's not really much you can do about it. You try and straighten it out with a pair of pliers, but the odds are that you get a rattly one, it's just bad luck. But this one's a good one, so yeah, I'm gonna do this rebate first, and then I should be able to get a nice clean edge here because the blade will be pulling the material in. I hope that makes sense. Again, these explanations are really quite hard. Bear with me, it'll make sense when you see it. Right, first rebate's done. Now I can draw that line on there. That's my point. That's square that down. And it's important to scribe that in because the scribe will actually save that edge as well. Because you kind of create the arris with the scribe and then you're working up to the scribe. So in theory, you shouldn't actually touch that edge. But that's in theory, you know. Right, before I touch this with a chisel to tie that corner in, I'm just going to use a flat rasp like this and take that edge off. Just a little bit, there we go. Now that's less fragile than it would have been otherwise. So now I can take a chisel into this and be really careful because it's super easy to snap that off. Really sharp chisel, that's key. If you're doing something like this, really sharp chisel. Beautiful. Right, it's all good, other than I just pinged that off when I was rubbing it. And I was like, oh, shall I show them that I pinged it off? Shall I be honest about it, or shall I just cover it up? So, what I'm gonna do is I'm basically just gonna get this rasp, and I'm gonna just apply pressure on the forward strokes, like that. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. And I'm essentially gonna bend it back to pull that corner back to the point where then I can just put a little chamfer on the end of it, and then you won't notice. So technically, I've pinged the corner off, but a bit of this, and t'other way. See, a mason on Portland once said to me, a great mason is not a mason that never makes mistakes, because we all make mistakes. A great mason is a mason who knows how to cover up his mistakes. I mean, obviously you want to make as minimal amount of mistakes as possible, but we all do make mistakes. And me pinging that off was a mistake made. There you go, see, look at that! So we've just pulled that back by probably 1/2 mil both sides, and fortunately that's enough to pull it back in. Lovely. Most satisfying part of the job. Right, thanks a lot for watching. If you can subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz, that'd be great. Share with your mates. I'll catch you later.